calculating, powerful, resonating, justified, and cold-blooded. Well-written antagonists utilize those descriptions along with many others to their maximum potential in order to become memorable and often the highlight of a story. Antagonists are very versatile. It can be one character, an evil organization, or internal thoughts. I'm particularly interested in the main villain of a story, so we're going to explore and focus on the main antagonist to find out what makes them so great. An effective antagonist will always linger in the back of your mind as the story unfolds. You may ask yourself questions. When will they strike again? What's his ultimate goal? How is the hero supposed to win against this threat? The presence of the villain allows them to be more memorable and result in viewers sitting at the edge of their seat. The best example for this category is Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight, who I spoke very highly of in my most recent Batman video. The film makes a statement when it opens up with the antagonist of the film. This guy is going to be the dude that fucks everything up. This establishes the film's main antagonist immediately as viewers become instantly aware of what the hero is dealing with. Everything bad that happens in the film, including the eventual transformation of Harvey Dent, is ultimately due to the Joker's impact. Every action he takes is calculated, making him an insurmountable threat, as whatever solution Batman comes up with, Joker likely has an answer to. Getting caught by the police was most likely not part of his plan. However, he has thought so far ahead that he comes up with a solution for every possible outcome, and so is able to easily escape the interrogation. This shows high levels of intelligence, something a lot of villains have in common. John Doe from Seven is able to effectively utilize his intelligence to fuck everything up. An antagonist who doesn't physically appear in the movie until 3/4 into the runtime, yet it doesn't feel that way due to his anonymous and tremendous impact throughout the first and second act. The moment he hands himself in is when the characters in the audience realizes that something bad is about to happen, and so the entire third act you're just waiting to see what will happen. However, almost equally as terrifying is when an antagonist is in fact not very smart at all, and therefore doesn't think through their actions properly. I think this perfectly encapsulates Homelander, a character who commands every scene he is in because you have no idea whether or not he's going to kill someone. Making the antagonist unpredictable is a great way to keep the audience at the edge of their seats, whether they're calculating or not. He is someone we know very little about. However, we come to learn more about him as the show goes on, to the point where we even develop empathy towards him, therefore granting us a fascinating question. How important is an origin story? The Joker and John Doe have little to no origin story to go off, however are widely regarded as some of cinema's greatest ever antagonists. Origin stories become important when the writer wants audiences to develop empathy and remorse towards villains, as it adds layers of depth to their character. Often the tragic backstory turns people into heroes as they don't want anyone to experience what they've gone through, whereas others use that same pain to inflict it on others. Take Syndrome from The Incredibles. A genius from birth who was mistreated at a young age by not only Mr. Incredible, his childhood hero, but seemingly the entire world. A huge contribution to his future motives. His origin story allows audiences to recognize why he turned evil and even resonate with him. This exchanges reasoning and empathy for mystery, hence why creatures such as Alien from the original 1979 film often don't need backstories as the audience fears the unknown. This allows antagonists to pull off the unexpected. Now you have a really interesting category, which are antagonists who believe they are the hero of the story. Thanos in Infinity War truly believes he's doing the right thing by wiping out half the universe, as explained in this scene.
The children born have known nothing but full bellies and clear skies. It's a paradise.
This results in it being one of the most important scenes of the film as we come to understand Thanos, and some even may justify his motives. His beliefs are proven further when demonstrating his reaction to losing his daughter. However, in his mind,
the hardest choices require the strongest wills.
And as you can see, quotable lines makes villains all the more memorable. So we've made it this far into the video, and talked about the main reasons as to how a great antagonist works, along with a few other details. Here are my top 3 favorite villains in films. However, we've yet to talk about my favorite type of villains, as they work a lot better in TV shows, which is when characters transform from the hero to the villain. Before I reveal that, I'd like to give you guys a massive spoiler warning for Breaking Bad and Attack on Titan. If you haven't seen these shows, I highly recommend skipping to this timestamp if you want to keep watching without spoilers. They're good shows, so please don't spoil yourself. Alright, now that that's out of the way, what I really meant is when the protagonist slowly turns evil over the course of the show. Let's start with Walter White, an intelligent man who feels underachieved as a scientist and family man. Someone who has nothing left to lose due to his cancer. He decides to sell illegal drugs due to the amount of income it generates, and over the course of the show he becomes increasingly dangerous, to the point where you almost no longer root for him. However, due to his previously dull and uneventful life, You can't help but understand where he's coming from. He finally felt alive.
I liked it. I was good at it.
It's a transformation that slowly and naturally occurs over the course of 5 seasons, making viewers question who they should root for the further into the show you get. Now comes Attack on Titan, a show where the clear antagonists are the Titans along with many different Titan shifters. However, when the outside world is eventually revealed and season 4 starts, our entire perspective shifts. Eren, the protagonist we root for throughout 3 seasons, suddenly becomes the antagonist of the show. We finally understand the truth and are now conflicted on whether or not these characters we've come to love and appreciate are in the right anymore. Eren is the ultimate example of someone who believes he's the hero of the story, and due to 3 seasons of pain and suffering, we almost feel like he's justified for what he's doing. From the very beginning, he promises to wipe out all the Titans. However, due to an unfortunate turn of events, he continues to fulfill his promise from the perspective of outside the walls. So, after much discussion, who is my favourite antagonist? A character whose presence is felt within every scene. Similar to The Dark Knight, everything bad that happens is ultimately due to the Joker. And this idea is taken to the next level for the character of Johann. A character whose presence is felt more than any other character. Similarly to Heath Ledger's Joker, anything bad that happens in the show is due to Johann Liebert. He may not appear for several episodes in a row and still be the best part about those episodes simply due to the way people reference him and, more importantly, how they are impacted by him. People in the show experience mental breakdowns by even thinking about him, a technique that rubs off on the audience as well. He's able to terrorize and manipulate his targets due to his high levels of intelligence, particularly due to his exceptional communication skills, allowing him to be one of the most manipulative characters ever put to screen. He constantly feels out of reach and the people he targets often benefit him immensely. However, the most interesting aspect about Johann is his origin story. Films don't get a lot of runtime to slowly reveal a character's backstory. Monster takes full advantage of the long runtime to slowly reveal more and more about his past, and it gets more fucked up as the show progresses. Despite his calm and calculated demeanor, even he went through a mental breakdown just by looking back into his past. I'm genuinely serious when I say there have been times where the character would simply mention his name and I would get chills. This makes Johann not only the greatest antagonist of all time for me, but he is also my favorite character in general. I have socialized more in the last 2 weeks than in the last 2 months, which explains the long upload wait. It's been very fun, but YouTube videos is honestly just as fun, so I'm going to keep doing this. And thank you guys so much for my Batman video. It did a lot better than I expected. So I'm making a follow-up video to that one pretty soon. Alright, thank you guys for watching. See ya.